What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Planet Destiny podcast, episode 215. We are back once again with a more full crew for you. Everybody's basically back from vacation. That's right, the vacation boys are back in town, although I think for Nim, it's just work. Okay. I was having fun these last 2 weeks. I was off on vacation.
Yeah.
Nim, I'm pretty sure, was in like some kind of slave camp.
Work stupor.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he was working for me so that I could stay on vacation. Welcome back, everybody. We have got a lot of stuff to talk about. Shadowkeep, of course, is out. I missed last week, so I didn't get a chance to give my initial thoughts and opinions on Shadowkeep and the expansion. Nim as well, so we're going to be going into a lot of that. We've got our roundtable of hosts here. Nim Plays is back once again. Good to have you here, buddy.
Thank you, man. Good to be back.
Dan, thank you for always holding it down. You are the rock that this show is is built upon. Thanks for being so solid, brother.
I'm the rock. I'm the rock.
You are the rock. You are. So I'm going to need that full sleeve tattoo done by next Sunday.
And you
have to shave all your hair.
I need to do that. I also need to learn how to elbow pillars until they disintegrate into nothingness.
That's right.
If the new trailer is to be believed, I need to go down to the Amazon and become a riverboat captain.
You do. You need to become a riverboat. What is that? The second Jumanji film or something like that?
Yeah,
it's Jungle Cruise.
Jungle.
But is it off of Jumanji? I don't know. I didn't look into it, but
it is based on the Disney ride.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 16th most popular Disney ride.
The ride where
this is a movie based on a Disney ride.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
But
Okay.
The 14th most popular Disney ride.
Those are all the rides that you can get on if Space Mountain's closed, right?
Yeah. You're 100% correct. Jungle Cruise is a Disney ride. I didn't make that connection because there is a second Jumanji movie coming out.
Yeah.
Or rather, technically a third one coming out, and same thing.
Yeah. It has the same actors, right?
Yeah, the exact same actors. It's
One would assume.
This is what happens when I'm back. We're already off the rails.
It already derailed into something that's not Destiny. This is what we mean, Josh. It happens naturally.
Yeah.
By the way, Josh, thanks for joining us for the show tonight, man.
Yeah. Yeah, glad to join you guys. I just joined Planet Destiny, so I thought I would do a podcast with you guys since, yeah.
Well, welcome.
Welcome. Pretty good way to introduce yourself. You are a Twitch streamer. You got your own channel and you stream for the Planet Destiny Twitch channel.
I do. I've been grinding that Destiny, so yeah, it's I've really been loving this expansion. It's really been good. I know we're probably going to talk about it later, but it's really it's hit all the spots. It's hit all the good spots, going back to the moon, everything, and yeah, it's just been great. It's just been really, really good.
How'd you get your start in streaming?
So I actually was just playing Destiny for my Xbox, and I was I already play 5 or 6 hours a day. Why not just stream it and put it out there? And I guess here we are. So I'm hey, yeah, just put yourself out there, and I was I guess this is where I am now. So it's really cool. It's really cool. But yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome because people always ask hey, I want to get into streaming. I want to start. What do I need to buy? What do I need to do to get into this? And really, you don't have to buy much of anything.
Yeah. Oh,
You've
yeah.
got a console. Just stream from your console.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was just streaming right from my console, no face cam, no anything.
Yep.
And it just kind of snowballed slowly into me having a green screen and stuff, and doing all that and joining Planet Destiny and everything. So it's really cool. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to think about how many because it was 3 or 4 years ago that I started, and just crazy to think about where I am now. So it's really cool. But,
well,
we're happy to have you here, man.
Yeah. Welcome
Thanks
to the
so much
team.
for joining the team. Right on. But, that's a natural jumping off point there. Shadowkeep. It's out. It's been out for a couple of weeks now. We've all had, I'd say, a pretty significant amount of time to get acquainted with Shadowkeep, or get reacquainted with the moon. I know, at least in the case of Nim and myself, we've had plenty of time to get acquainted with the new comp situation and PvP. I think there's plenty of things to talk about there, and I like it. I like Shadowkeep. I think it's a pretty good expansion thus far. I've only logged maybe about 200 hours.
Oh my god.
Maybe I like it just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's overall it's a pretty good expansion. It is I like the changes. I like the armor system changes. I think some of the changes are a little rough around the edges. Specifically, the new player experience is a little overwhelming.
That's what I heard. What does that new player experience look like overall?
So basically, when you start the game as a new free-to-play player, you're put into Destiny New Light, which is the Eyes Up Guardian mission from Destiny 1.
Right.
Rather than the beginning of the Red War. So you go through that initial mission in the Cosmodrome. It's all cool and everything. You beat down that first captain or whatever it was. And then you're just dumped into the tower with no direction.
Yeah.
They don't tell you anywhere to go. You are extremely new.
Crazy.
But you suddenly are 750 power. You have all of these maxed out classes that the game does not teach you how to use.
Right.
That experience you have of going through the first 6 or 7 hours of the initial story with Red War, where you're unlocking your class abilities, you're learning how to play. All of that is gone. You're just immediately 750 and have no idea what to do. Unfortunately, it's a kind of overwhelming experience for new players. Now, there is a series of tutorials, or rather, there are a series of tutorials you can go through. But by going over to Amanda Holiday, she'll have basically all of the initial quest lines, whether it's the Red War, Curse of Osiris, the Warmind campaign, the Forsaken campaign, and then you can start the Shadowkeep campaign from there. Amanda does have all of that, and all of those tutorial missions are a part of the Red War. But the game don't really point you there. It doesn't really tell you. I cannot begin to tell you the number of people who came to me this week like, yo, I like this game. It's cool to play and all, but I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have no idea where to go. So while I think it was ultimately a great idea for Bungie to open up the game like this, to create this level playing field where anybody who wants to play can immediately jump into content with their friends, may have been playing it for a long time, they probably could have done a better job of directing people, especially new players, through that tutorial experience.
Just as a heads up before we continue on, because Shadowkeep and New Light launched on October 1st, we are, at the moment of this recording, it's October 13th, we will be discussing spoilers. So, if by any chance you haven't beat the story, or if you haven't done the raid, this is your spoiler warning. We will be going into depth and discussion of those two topics. So, you've been warned. If you're still here, enjoy the show.
I think next week it's pretty fair to assume that we won't be doing that warning. So that's 2 shows you get it. The next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I heard that they kind of gutted the Red War campaign a little bit. Is that correct?
Yeah, because they, like, some of the missions that we did back in the Red War, like the mission that rewarded you with like Risk Runner and some of those other exotics, I think have been changed or like removed, because Risk Runner got its own brand new quest with
Risk and Reward.
Yeah, Risk and Reward. So they took out some of those missions. I don't know if they changed because I don't have any new characters. I've had accounts on every platform Destiny 2 has been on, so I've got no opportunity to make a new character without deleting somebody, and that'll never happen. Never delete a character. But from what I've heard from a good buddy of mine who specifically tried to go back and get the new player experience, things are a little different, just a wee bit different, which makes it even more confusing for new players. It's not an awful experience because the gameplay experience is fine, but it is confusing and muddled. I've heard it described as being somewhat similar to Warframe, where you can drop into
God.
Warframe, and
Yeah.
there's 7
yeah.
years of content that is just dumped on you, and it's like you can go wherever you want, which is really cool because you can just jump in and join your friends. But
Yeah.
I have been playing Warframe for like 5 years now. I still don't know where I am in the story. I have no idea what the plot is. I'll play for like 4 or 5 months, and then I'll leave for a year, and I'll come back and it's like, okay, well, I have no idea what's going on here or what my class is, but here's a new weapon I want to make, so I'll just go and farm that. And it's kind of similar with Destiny.
It was interesting earlier this week. I listened to a lot of podcasts, and one of them that I was listening to, This Is Rad, they were one of the guys, Weekly Rad, that's a segment that they do, was Destiny too. And he's like, man, I fell off really hard like in the first year, and now I'm coming back and there's all this new stuff to do and it's free to play, and oh my god, there's like a 4-hour video for lore. What is going on? And like and so it was just really weird to hear like something from the outside coming into
Right.
my purview a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, like it must be like it's got to be super weird. I kind of want to restart a character because after seeing like my darkness self at the end of the campaign, I just need to redo my hunter's entire look because damn.
Haven't seen that face for a while, have you?
No, I had that helmet on for a reason.
The helmet stays on.
Helmet stays on. But
Yeah.
what are some of your because you guys weren't here, what are some of your other like takeaways from the story so far? Like what's been your favorite thing in Shadowkeep so far, and what's been maybe the thing that has been a little thorn in your side? No pun intended, but intended.
Okay, so Nim, I guess this is more directed to you and I and Josh as well, I guess. So here's what we'll do. We'll start with our favorite thing, story-wise, gameplay-wise, mechanics-wise, and then we'll go into maybe some of the stuff we don't like too much. Starting with you, Josh. What did you like?
Okay, wow, putting me on the spot here.
Absolutely.
So my favorite thing probably was that first mission, going back to the Cosmodrome, going just like reliving almost that first mission. And I know we got to go like down in where the captain pops out normally in Destiny 1. But that was so cool. I was like, oh my gosh, like, the memories just flooded back and everything. And oh man, it was just so great. Risk Runner besides, which was cool, like a cool bonus to that, but that wasn't like the main thing of why I was excited about that. Like it was totally about the mission, and just like it was just great. That was my favorite moment probably from the whole expansion. And I know that's probably like a minor thing to most people, but it was good. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. So yeah, that was probably my favorite thing.
No, absolutely. I mean, the first light or the new light mission, as it's called now, is I think an awesome way to introduce new players to the game. And I almost want to make a new character just so I can go through it for the first time in Destiny 2, because there's a lot to be said for nostalgia there. There is.
Yeah, the risk reward mission that gives you the Risk Runner now. Like, somebody wrote an article, I want to say that it was in Kotaku this week, where they were like, yeah, they made true a promise that they made back in 2013. So when blueberries are coming in fresh and new and just like shining in the sun, when they're coming in and they're taking on that fallen tank, we're like, in the demo that they gave at E3, they said, oh, look over there. Like, these guys are like level 20s. They're coming in. Mm-hmm. We're actually the level 20s now.
Yeah.
Coming in to help out, which is really rad. I loved that little, like, connection.
That was cool.
That they made.
Right.
And it's almost something I didn't even recognize until, like, I was finished with the Walker part of that section when I was doing Risk Reward. I didn't even realize it until the end when I see oh, one of the other guardians I was fighting here is literally on the first story mission. That's an awesome way to bridge the server space of those two missions together, where they get to come in and see this hugely powerful power level 950 guardian blowing stuff up, and they're like, whoa.
I want to be like you, Dad. No.
That was pretty cool. I was running it with a buddy of mine, and as we cleaned up the area, we're heading over into where this new guardian comes out. Because remember, you head into the area that they just exited. We're looking at this guy and like, oh, what is this low level person doing in this in level mission? Oh, they're doing their first story mission, and it just threw us together. That's pretty cool. That was awesome way to handle that mission. Right on. So what about you, Nim? What do you like about Shadowkeep, whether it be the story or gameplay or what?
God, there's so much, dude. There's so much. One of my favorite things was the first story mission, where you finally get to see the pyramid ship.
That's not supposed to be here.
Yeah, and we talked about this off of stream or anything like this. A while ago, you know, Bungie's very careful with the words that they use in some of their Vidocs and stuff like that. And one of the things that stood out in the first Out of the Shadows Vidoc that they posted after the split from Activision was just one screen that just said the darkness is closer than you think. And they were very careful about not using that word for like 2 years, man. They themselves said, you know, we're not sure what the darkness is exactly, so they kind of veered away from that. So that moment where you turn the corner and the pyramid ship is just there, I lost my shit. And honestly, like the mystery, it feels like it's back in the game. And that's something that, to me, as someone who's played this game for like 5 years now, it's nice to feel again, because we don't know what is going to happen now that we have this ship here, and it kind of, throughout the years, you know, with like Taken King and then Rise of Iron and then the new game and then Curse of Osiris, we became really kind of jaded to that pattern, and we kind of know what to expect. And hey, it's Vex. Hey, it's Hive. Hey, it's another giant Hive wizard. Hey, it's a giant Fallen. Now it's like, holy shit, what's gonna go down? Like what is this pyramid? What is it doing here? And there's been a lot of precursors to that, and there's been a lot of stuff in the lore. So I'm stoked to finally get something different. In a sense.
Yeah, you know, I identify with you right there. I think that was probably the line of the DLC for me. If you're somebody who went through all of the I think it was the Invitations of the Nine, to see I think it was the Invitations of the Nine, wherever you actually see the pyramid ships. It might have been the Queen stuff, visiting the, you know, it was visiting the Queen. If you had visited the Queen enough times to see the pyramid shapes, you actually get, that's the only way you get that line from the ghost, where you walk around the corner, you look at the pyramid, and your ghost goes, that shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
That was my favorite line from this DLC, because it's exactly what I said when you walked around that corner, and they set you up for it. You can't sprint at that part of that mission. It's a beautiful bit of cinematography. They slow you down. You see the ghosts hanging over the site of the Earth, and then when you round that corner, boom, the Pyramid of Darkness that some of us thought wasn't going to be here till the end of D2 or D3. Some of us thought we were never going to see again. So again, as Nim said, they had been moving away from the whole talk about the darkness and all that stuff. And boom, now we're faced with it on our home turf. I thought that was I was not expecting that to be where the story went with Shadowkeep. And I'm super psyched to learn more as we move on, because we see how it's already affecting things in the world space now. The Hive built this fortress around it. What they're doing with it, we don't quite know. All we know is that they built some stuff so that they can resist its effects. The Vex are popping in because we decided to invade the Black Garden, and now they've found the pyramid too. So where this is going to lead story-wise, I'm really excited to see. I'm super
Have
excited.
you beaten the raid, TPL?
No, I've gotten to the final encounter. I have not beaten.
Okay, because they connect.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard
And
there's
it's-
some spooks.
And when I beat it, it just I was just kind of like, wait a minute, what the hell just happened?
There's some weird stuff going on.
I
man.
don't understand the connection. Yeah, like it's super strange. Because like at the end of the final mission where you're sucked into the pyramid ship, you're kind of going through it, and the ship is obviously playing with your character's like
Right.
memories. Like it has you fight the fanatic, Gaul, and Crota. Which by the way, that Crota fight,
Right?
oh
Yeah.
my fuck, was it so
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
It was so good. I had to change my pants like 5 times. Anyway, so you're kind of going through that, and the ship is playing with you, and you finally get to this long staircase, and there's a statue there with a little floaty orb, and then you get the cutscene where all of a sudden your character now is in the Black Garden with those ships just kind of everywhere,
Yep.
as what seems to be a shadow of yourself walks up to you and tells you that we are not your enemy, we are not your friend,
Right.
we are your salvation. And then
Oh boy.
boom, done, over. And I was just sitting there at my desk like,
Wait, what?
what?
Right?
Yeah. So, and that's so cool. Like, it's fucking great to have that sensation of holy shit, what's about to go down? Like, what is happening with the story of the game? How does this tie in to the Vex? Because clearly, the Vex have a pretty clear connection with this thing.
Yeah.
So
Right, yeah, and with the way that the pyramid interacts with your ghost as well, shows that there's some things intertwining here
Linked.
that's probably gonna
Mhm.
be a problem soon.
So I don't know if you guys have taken a peek at some of the raid armor for the game, but there is some lore, some interesting lore attached to the armor pieces that seem to be of a fire team that is
Ooh.
going through some pretty interesting events. Have you guys taken a peek at that?
Have not, no.
A little, but very, very little, like what I've done on the raid.
So, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to see if I can pull it up here because I read it on Reddit, and the fire team is called Kentark 3, and it's a fire team made up of a warlock, a hunter, and a titan. And throughout the lore, and it's tied to the weapons and the armor and stuff like that, but it shows them as they're going. The first few lines, it looks like they're traveling through a Vex network, and then little by little they come into contact with the darkness, and they seem to accept its powers, and some of that stuff is on the lore, like for the pulse rifle for the raid has a lore that reads, these gifts were not made for us, but we were meant to have them. So they clearly take that in. And it's been interesting, dude. Like, if some of the stuff that the leaks that we've heard of in the past have any like weight behind them,
Right.
this is probably the introduction of like Guardians going to that darkness side.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which has been a topic of conversation for basically as long as Destiny has been out, both lore-wise and gameplay-wise. And there's there's been more and more hints as of late, whether it's the stuff going on with Callus and the promise of shadows and power within, or what's going on with this DLC, where there seems to be some pretty direct revelations there. So I have taken the time to read some of the lore attached to the armor from the raid, as well as the ship. The ship has a bit of lore tied to it too.
Yeah.
And that seems to be where it's pointing us. Which D3, what's going to go on there?
It's gonna be big.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big. There's a lot of loose ends, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many.
Yeah.
That's good. Story-wise, things seem to be branching off into a really incredible series of points. They could go anywhere from this now. We're branching back into the darkness and what that could mean. With the darkness mirroring your shape in the Black Garden, what that's gonna mean. There's some cool stuff they could do with this, and I can't wait to see. With this DLC, basically with the incoming seasons, they're gonna be continuing this narrative. So what started with Shadowkeep and then got advanced with the Vex invasion is going to be rolling on into something else in another couple of months. And I cannot wait to see what they're going to be doing next story-wise. It's looking pretty good.
It's looking great. And for those that haven't really noticed, there's a little something going on behind Ikora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with I want to say with the reset that we hit, there's a big ass platform being built behind Ikora, and she gives you a little speech that the Vex have resurrected the Undying Mind from
old
Destiny
homie from
1.
D1. Yep.
Yeah. They resurrected it. And it's traveling through multiple timelines, kind of wreaking havoc. So her idea, and I'm not saying this is a great idea, her idea is to build a portal tuned to the Undying Mind, in which we can go through and take it out.
Yep.
Of the city.
Yeah.
On the tower.
That's a bold
There,
play.
Sounds like a bad
But there's a
idea,
lot of
but
civilians.
It could work.
This is an interesting move, Ikora.
Portals go two ways, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
remember the last time somebody opened up a rift and a bunch of Vex kind of came spilling out of it?
Yeah, it's kind of how we got Curia.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that happened.
Ooh.
Crota made a mistake. He oopsied
Yeah.
all over his dad's office. And got a pretty bad hide tanning for it. But yeah, and like the lore there with the Undying Mind is so cool. If you sit back and you listen to Ikora's speech, she talks about after we whooped its butt in like the second or third worst strike in Destiny 1, by the way. Strike was so annoying. After we whooped its butt, it got reconstituted over time and said, okay, that's not happening again, and basically converged itself in multiple timelines so that there would always be a version of it existing somewhere. That's freaking cool. And basically, Ikora said we could keep jumping between different timelines and killing it, but that's going to take forever. Why don't we tune to like the main core of the thing itself, warp directly to it, and murk it from the inside out?
Yeah.
Okay, Ikora. I find it a little bit weird that you're doing this without calling Osiris.
She's so angry.
I know, like Osiris is like the Time Lord King guy. He knows how to like travel through time.
It's literally his gimmick.
Yeah.
He travels through Vex timelines.
Yeah.
Why don't we go get that guy to, simulate where this thing is and maybe give us a little bit of expertise on it? But Ikora's just like, no. We're going to brute force
And we got this,
shotgun
fam.
this thing. Okay.
We got this.
All right. We'll leave Osiris off in the Infinite Forest to make more holiday events for us, because I refuse to believe that it's not him. All this event taking place in the Infinite Forest, turns out Grandpa Osiris just really loves the holidays. Loves making things for Guardians.
But you know who? There's a possibility that we may end up seeing after time.
Who would that be?
It's a little historic character.
He was
called,
he was on the IMDb, right?
He was on the
IMDb.
I believe his name's like the Sant
Prophet
Fortin.
12?
Sant Fortin? Is that his name? Sant Fortin?
Catholic
Yeah.
3?
Yeah, Captain.
Pope 9?
Yeah,
No,
Pope
God,
9.
no.
Pope 9.
Oh my
He's doing
god.
other
No,
stuff.
no.
That is the name of my next character. Continue.
Moving on.
Pope 9. Yeah, Saint 14.
Saint 14.
He's on the IMDb page, man.
Yeah.
That
He
means
was
somebody's voicing him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
And
somebody-
according to the lore behind the Perfect Paradox, we give that shotgun back to him at some
To
point.
him.
Mhm.
I see. This is one of those instances where the writing team for Destiny does amazing work, and then we have Curse of Osiris. But the story behind Saint 14, one of the most legendary guardians in the history of Destiny, and his fight, his like hundreds of years fight against the Vex before that, he finally just ran out of power. They didn't kill him; he just ran out of power, and the Vex said, "Damn, this dude's huge. Let's build him a tomb." The entire story behind that is so awesome. And then when you find out that the Guardian who gave him his signature weapon, that he idolized and modeled himself after, is you in a different timeline. It's cool stuff, man. And I thought that was just going to be like a one-off little cool bit of lore that they threw into Curse of Osiris, but I really hope they pull it in with some of the stuff coming in the future, because what a cool character. What an awesome character.
Looking good, man.
Yeah. So now that we fanboyed all over this, should we look to the future maybe? Should we look at maybe an Iron Banner that's on the horizon?
We do have an Iron Banner coming.
Very good.
That's true.
And there you go. Iron Banner's coming back, ladies.
It's happening.
Yeah.
You have it.
There you go. That's all the news for today.
You've been informed.
Like, well, our work here is done now.
Yeah. It starts on the 15th, so here in a couple days, 10 a.m. PDT, 1 p.m. Eastern, and then ends the following week, and you get all that flashy armor.
And only
armor. Yeah.
You get all that and only armor, because there's no new weapons. It's just armor.
Nope. Nope.
Hey,
What
Dan,
were you expecting? Yeah?
you ever see the Little Rascals?
I did see the Little Rascals. I'm
You
alfalfa
are.
right now, right?
I have to hear you say Darla.
Darla! There you go.
Captain of the He-Man
And
Woman
this
Eater's
is
Flag.
how the podcast gets derailed, Chad.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
That's right. He was going for the Saint 14. It turned into alfalfa. Now
Yeah,
we are where we are.
it always does.
This is where
It always
This
does.
is where we find ourselves.
But
But yeah,
yes.
Iron Banner's coming. There's some things that I like about this. I like that we're getting a new armor set. I love that they're changing the bounties to pinnacle. They're making them
Yes.
pinnacle bounties.
Yes, that's good.
That's a huge change that makes it more than worthwhile to actually run the Iron Banner this time around. I talked a bit about this on the TWAB video on the YouTube channel this week, but the way they word it in the TWAB kind of makes it seem like the bounties were originally not going to be pinnacle, like
Right.
not going to reward pinnacle items, and that they kind of retroactively made that change. And I'm very happy they did, because otherwise there wouldn't be much reason to run Iron Banner outside
Nope.
of completing the pinnacle or the pursuit quest, getting your armor, and then not playing Iron Banner.
Right. What's the point after you get that stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas in D1, Iron Banner was one of the premier ways to get to endgame. If you were somebody who couldn't raid and you were scared to step into trials, Iron Banner was how you got to maximum power. And I'm
Yeah.
very happy that they're doing that again. If you don't know what I mean when I say pinnacle rewards, basically once you hit 950, I want to say, the only way to get your power up above 950 is with pinnacle drops. Which I think the only pinnacle rewards in the game right now are the raid, getting 100k on the Nightfall, which requires you to run the 950 or 980 version. And I'm not aware of any other pinnacle rewards outside of maybe an exotic quest.
The 100k Nightfall does.
Yeah. The 950, 980, 100k Nightfall run. That raid and I think maybe exotic quests are the only way to get your power up from 950 to 960.
Can't
And
you
it's only 1 point.
can't you do the Overlord?
Yes,
Yeah.
the hidden heroic for the Vex invasions, which, good God, people watch a video. Stop
Yes, please.
killing the Minotaurs before you kill the Hydras. Good God.
Please.
You'd think it'd be a rule of thumb now. If, like, majors pop up, kill them. But yeah, I think, what is it, killing 2 of those a week gets you Pinnacle drop?
Yeah, I believe so. Like, and it's substantial from what
Yeah.
I've seen drop for me. So that's been super worthwhile. I don't know if that's on a per account or per character, but
I think it might be per character, because usually those drops are per character.
I feel like it might be.
Yeah. But yeah, by the way, that'll be something we talk about in a little bit, I guess. I love the Vex invasions. I think that's a lot of fun, and the incursion into the Black Garden, I think, is a fantastic 6-person activity. I kind of wish they would change bosses every week, sort of like Menagerie does, but I thought that was a really cool activity, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because I wasn't here. I really like it though. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But I'm very happy that Iron Banner, at least 4 of the... There we go, that's 4. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks since I counted things. So 3, 4. There you go. At least 4 of the Iron Banner bounties are going to reward Pinnacle gear. So if you're around 950, you're going to be able to use that to get up to 960, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I am bummed that there's no new weapons, though. Like,
yeah, it kind of seems like they dropped the ball a little bit on that one. Especially with it being like a huge, as big of an expansion as it was, like, you know, a whole new armor sets, overhaul on everything, but then they just left the weapons for reason. So,
yeah, there's as much as I'm enjoying this expansion, and this is something Nim, you and I talked a bit about off stream. Once you get over the moon and like some of the new stuff you can grind there really isn't a whole lot of new in terms of weapons and armor, and it still blows my mind that we get a refresh to Eververse every season. Not every expansion, every change of season. We get a refresh to Eververse. But old Devon K still selling the exact same set he was selling.
Yeah. Doesn't that drop at your current light, though?
Yes, it does.
Yes,
so it does help. Yeah, like, do your, like, if you have some of your items that aren't at your current light level or above it, then you can use materials or whatever to get drops at your light level and then use your high level drops. And that will that's what boosts you the best. So
I think up to a certain point, it helps you.
Yeah, well, up to like that 950 or whatever. Yeah.
And it's weird because different vendors will change. Some will give you, like, if you're 949, some will give you 949 stuff, and then other days they'll give you like 948. And you just have to find whichever vendor's giving you on level stuff that day. That's been a thing since year 1. And it's been people used to track it, but nobody bothers with that anymore because we've got so many vendors. It's just a hassle to do. But I was a little bit bummed to see that Iron Banner didn't get a weapon refresh. Like, even so much as bringing some of the year 1 stuff back for a second round. It's a little weird that there's no new stuff in Iron Banner outside of the armor. But at the very least, the Pinnacle rewards is enough to get me to actually play it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take that. What else? What else did I like from Shadowkeep? Lectern, I think, is pretty cool. I love that Eris Morn is back with her plump, full lips that seem to get fuller and plumper every time I see her. Nim, you can never take her from me. She was mine before you ever saw her.
You can't see me, but I'm squinting at you.
I'll duel you at dawn. Like I was saying before, I really enjoy the Vex activity, the Vex invasions, and that whole system. I like that they put that live alongside the raid so that people who aren't raiding have something to do.
Right. That's super cool.
And it's a cool little 6-man activity for people. It's kind of like a little bit of a raid light for people to engage.
Yeah.
I do wish they would have put some different stuff in there. Like, I think it would have been cool if they swap bosses every week, kind of like Menagerie does, and put in some different mechanics. Like, right now, the main mechanic is blowing up the oracles that show up. I think it would have been cool if they dropped in some of the tether points from the raid every now and again.
Oh, yeah.
And, teach people how to do that sort of thing so that when they do raid, they're like, oh, I've seen this before. But overall, I think it's a cool activity. It's definitely.
I feel like that might have been a little bit of a disaster with the blueberries, like them taking like 30 minutes for them all to be like, okay, so we actually have to work together and like hook up. And yeah.
You're right. 4 minutes ago, I was complaining that they don't know to kill Hydras for a very simple boss spawning mechanic. So you're right. Maybe that's a nightmare waiting to happen. But I think it's a fun activity. What else do I like? Have any of you guys? I know Nim has, but have the rest of you played comp at all?
Yes,
I've
I've played a decent fair chunk of it.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's very interesting.
I haven't gotten in there. I have played a little bit of Crucible, and what I've played, I've liked. I find that there's got to be some serious like skill-based matchmaking in there because I am playing on PC with a controller. I know half of our audience who is gonna yell at me for that, but it's been dare I say a fun time. Yeah.
I've enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. I would say it's been interesting, especially the solo comp, because there's definitely like a drop off where you get up to a certain point. I want to say it's like 3,500, maybe even 4,000, and then you kind of just like, okay, here's the deep end, and it drops off, and
oh,
but I mean,
here's
up
all the
until that
sweats.
point, it's really good. Like, I think it's a really nice thing that they added. But I'm really enjoying it actually. I'm not usually a comp guy, but I actually like trying it out and stuff, and it's very nice. So.
Right on. Yeah, I love survival, and I think the changes that they've made to comp thus far, especially the freelance playlist, is probably one of the best additions they've done. Period. When it comes to health of PvP. Of course, if you don't know, comp has been changed to 3v3 survival, which is just a short team-based mode. It's basically Clash, but you have a limited number of lives. And with the comp playlist, they've made a normal comp playlist which allows for fire teams to go in, and the freelance playlist, which is for solo players only. So you jump in there, you're going to be matched up with a bunch of other solo players, and I think that has been a fantastic addition. It has made the grind so much more tolerable, especially with the changes that they've made to the way you gain glory. Nim and I talked a bunch about this over the last week. I was able to hit Fabled in a little less than 2 hours of gameplay in the comp playlist. It took me 9 game wins, and I was Fabled basically done. I'm in like the low 3,000s right now, I want to say, in a total of like 15 games, and that's unbelievably efficient timing.
Oh yeah,
for that sort of thing. That means if you're somebody who has been avoiding comp, maybe you've been sitting back, you finished all the rest of the steps for the Recluse, but you have not wanted to go into the comp playlist. And believe me, I can understand that because the comp experience before Shadowkeep was awful. Give it some time. Jump into the freelance playlist. It's a much better experience now.
Yeah.
You had some thoughts on that, right, Nem?
Yeah, that was actually just playing that before we started the show. It's been feeling really good. The fact that we're back to a 3v3 format. Again, freelance just feels really good. I've actually had a lot of fun with it. Like you, I managed to hit Fabled around the same time frame. It took like about 2 hours of just kind of like
super quick.
Yeah, it was really, really fast. I think like right now I'm sitting at like Fabled 3 almost, hitting the next rank up, which I have never done before. So
right.
It's been really good. I'm kind of hoping that they keep this playlist going, because I mean, even it makes for things like getting the Not Forgotten or the Unbroken more possible, but not easy by any means.
Yeah.
Like it's still a challenge because you're still gonna have to face up with eventually people that are like at 4,000 glory. But it is, I think, by far a vast improvement over the previous comp playlist that the game had.
Definitely the best comp has ever been in Destiny 2, and easily the most fair for people out there.
Yeah, my only gripe still with this is the fact that heavy spawns in every single goddamn round.
Well,
Yeah, they're changing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're fixing that, right? So instead of
They are.
it popping up as often, it's
It
going
needs
to
to
like
pop up.
It's
Like
gonna
in
be
the
later on every
Yes.
match and
Yeah.
I
not.
still don't think it should be
so-
every match. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think if we go back to like an eliminations type of round where it just spawns like once, like on, I don't know, like the third round or the of the match,
Hmm.
great. But it still, what I'm finding is that a lot of matches still end up around
Yep.
people camping heavy.
Oh yeah,
Camping for
everybody's
thunder
just
roll.
clustered around heavy and they're like angles
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's
Yeah.
still the game
Definitely.
mode still very much revolves around picking up that purple. And again, with like crazy weapons like 1000 Voices, Wardcliff Coil, Truth, Hammerhead.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
Hammerhead like is
Yeah.
ridiculous. The game still very much lends itself to, sit and camp for the purple.
Hmm.
I would even go as far as to say that's the point of it right now. Like it's so centralizing in it. If you're having a hard time in survival, maybe teammates who are like scattering like the Mystery Inc. gang whenever they walk into a haunted house. One of the best things you can do: control heavy. Heavy is absolutely everything in survival, and
Heavy is
they
the
are
key.
pushing back. It is 100% the king of survival. If you can maintain heavy and control it, you'll win. That's just it. You will win. And right now, I think it spawns. It starts at 30 seconds, which is super duper early into a match.
Yeah.
And then it spawns again at 60 seconds. And I think what they're doing is they're making the initial spawn at 60 seconds, and then the next spawn at like either 60 or 120 seconds later, right when the tiebreaker
Right.
goes live, which
Yeah.
I think is a good idea. I think it's a good idea for Heavy to go live at tiebreaker because it creates 2 points of interest on the map: Heavy and the capture zone. So you can either make the choice to go and try to fight for Heavy or try to go and capture the zone and wall up the defenses.
Which wasn't that how it was in Destiny 1?
Yes.
For the that's
for
what I
skirmish
thought.
or whatever it was.
Yeah. Okay.
And that I think that's a good idea moving forward, because right now, especially on certain maps, one team spawns fairly close to Heavy, and like if they're smart enough to get there, maybe drop a Titan shield in front of it, they can camp it out for about 10 seconds, grab Heavy for a Truth Rocket or a Hammerhead or a 1K, fire it at a corner, and full wipe a team.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're trying to go through your comp grind right now to get yourself up to Fable so you can get your Recluse, your Luna's Howl, your Mountaintop, and stuff like that, that's one of the best tips I can give you. Play for Heavy. Get up there, fortify yourself around it, grab it, and then just pick everybody off, because you'll have a much easier time doing it. Especially with Hammerhead getting like 58 shots in the magazine from one purple brick, which they are also changing. I think they said they're going to make it so that Heavy in comp gives you the exact same amount as you get in 6v6, which is a greatly less.
Okay. Gotcha.
But overall, I like the changes to comp. I think the freelance playlist is fantastic. 6v6 is where things get a little weird and wonky, because certain playlists seem to have some pretty out there matchmaking right now, to the point where like I drop into like the classic mix playlist and think, I'll hop in here with like a fusion rifle and a scout and start working towards old Randy's throwing knife, and I'm thrown up against a 6-stack from Redeem. Okay, Bungie, I don't know who you think I am. I don't have the hands of the Mark of J here. I can't. I don't deserve that.
They've got a list of all the content creators' names, and they're just like, let's see what they do in Classic.
Yeah, you get MTashed.
If I'm not mistaken, the classic mix has skill-based matchmaking.
It's supposed to be connection-based, but I'm 100% sure it's got skill-based.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've made changes to their algorithm all over the place. The classic mix playlist is supposed to be the connection-based one, but based on all of the reports that we've been seeing around, there definitely seems to be a skill component to it. And I've even seen some of that with my playing around in there. The other playlists, the core playlists, so stuff like the Clash playlist, the Control playlist, those definitely have skill-based algorithms live in them as well. but things seem a little bit wonky in the classic playlist. And I've seen no doubt or no end of complaints from multiple people about it, and I've even experienced it myself and gone back and done some. At least, you know, all of this is anecdotal evidence from me, but I've gone back and done some cursory glances at the people I've been matched up with in the classic mix, and they've all been platinum players, the same level as me, or you know, right below gold and whatnot. I have seen no bronze players except in comp. In freelance, I've seen bronze players, but they're usually on my team, which thanks, Bungie.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6v6 seems to be a little wonky with matchmaking right now. It almost kind of feels like, at least for me, it almost kind of feels like they've taken the skill-based algorithm from Iron Banner, which is very heavy, and thrown it into everything else. Oh, no.
I don't know. I've been playing Control, and that's been pretty fun. I haven't tried Classic. I just kept hearing from like, you know, the PvP sweats, you know, take skill-based matchmaking off or whatever, and it's just like, you know what? Now that you're not out there pub stomping people with your buddies, now you're having a hard time. Oof, get over yourself.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure that there's different matchmaking algorithms live in Control and Clash than there are in Classic. Because that's what I wound up doing. Like, I stopped playing the Classic Mix playlist because I kept running into fire teams and started just running Control and Clash and had a much more casual experience, which was mind-blowing for me. So, we'll have to see what's going on there. But yeah, Nim, there's a lot of people a little upset that they can't drop 50 bombs.
Yeah, that they can't roll over freaking just blueberries that are just starting in the games. Like,
right. Well, and that's meant for them, right? Because it's the free-to-play one, right? The playlist.
I think so.
I think the Clash and Control playlist are free-to-play accessible as well, I want to say.
So basically the old Trials and Control.
Yeah, I think so. I do believe so. Which, hey man, I'll be the bad guy here. I want a pub stomp. I absolutely want to pub stomp. I want to drop 50 play games. 100%.
You know where you drop your 50 play games?
Just get good at the game.
Torched.
Oh, yeah, Scorched.
Yeah.
The Scorched game mode. That is
Scorched
live
playlist. Team Scorched, excuse me. I call it Torched. for the
Also, great way to get your Ariana's Vow Catalyst done.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, those skills count. Not bad at all.
It's good to know. And
as someone who will probably not use the hand cannon, good to know, but moving on.
Ariana's Vow is not bad in PvP. I actually used that for a decent portion of my comp gameplay because I didn't feel like sniping, and that thing's a 2-shot.
You do realize that means I have to sacrifice my air until, you know, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
True.
It's a neat haircut. And have you noticed that, like, in some of the nightmare hunts, they've given Hive that aren't typically shielded solar shields, and it's like, I know what you want me to use. You stop that. I'm not gonna use Ariana's Vow.
Yeah. Yeah, those empowered red bars come out with shield, and so it's like, what are you doing with the shield? You're not supposed to have that.
Yeah.
Gotta whip out my
It's a neat hand cannon, but I mean, I'm not gonna stop using my air until over it.
So that actually leads me to a bit of a question here. Since we're on PvP, has anybody found their loadouts changing at all in Crucible?
No.
Really?
Not me, at least.
So I've been playing around with a few different things. My clan and I have been doing these randomized loadout like private matches, and that has expanded my overall use of different things. And
which, not to interrupt you, but hilariously entertaining on stream, by the way. Thanks for that content.
You're welcome, buddy. But yeah, it was like there's some stuff. There's this there's this new scout rifle that I've been digging quite a bit. Let me see if I can find it here on the old dim. But it's like, I swear I've been nuking people with it. It's been so good, at least for me. What was it?
Is it
Talk
a
amongst
high
yourselves.
impact or?
It is. I'm actually using it looks like I'm using the imperative quite a bit. And it's like,
the Vex one.
Yeah, triple tap rangefinder.
Ooh.
Is that the new one? The new scout?
Yeah, the Vex one.
Yeah, I have
Imperative,
one
yeah.
that is no distractions, explosive rounds, and it's been really
Same.
fun.
Oof.
It's really fun.
Explosive
bad.
rounds is back, I think.
Yeah,
I've
the
been hearing.
flinch. Mhm.
Yeah, the flinch. Yeah.
And with so many people trying to get like their scout rifle kills so they can get Randy's throwing knife,
Oh.
just throw on an explosive rounds weapon and just watch them aim at the sky because the recoil is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Has your loadout changed?
Not really. I've had the tried and true bygones EP shoddy. I still use the EP shoddy. I know it's been nerfed a little bit, but still overall fairly decent. Recluse, I've been dabbling in that as well. Just to
Just a little
have
bit.
those. Yeah,
Definitely a little bit one of the best.
gotta show that flair, But yeah, not really. I mean, pulse the bygones I have, it's still very very decent. I'm still very much enjoying the way it feels and stuff. It doesn't seem diminished at all, really. So I'm really enjoying it. I know I have to go and I've been working on like catalysts for my my Jade Rabbit. That's what it is. I've been working on that one. So yeah, but not really. I've been using same things I have been. So I don't think really the nerfs have been really nerfs because they actually like nerfed one thing but buffed another thing, so it kind of evened out.
Yeah.
Even though some people thought it might really like sway it a bunch, but it didn't. So yeah, I've been using kind of what I've been using.
Yeah. So a couple of other things that I've been using. Adhortative, the pulse rifle and the subjunctive. My subjunctive I got was a threat detector swashbuckler.
Ooh.
And so I've been using that in PvP quite a bit. From what I hear, stuff with explosive rounds is kind of making a comeback because like perks without damage fall off are like few and far between right now.
Right,
yeah, so I've just been like I've been experimenting quite a bit with my loadouts and especially like with builds being the way that they are now. I just want to see what feels right for me and where I can take a build rather than stick with the old stuff.
Right on. That's awesome. Trying out new things is always really fun, especially when you happen to find something that you really like.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I have really, really been enjoying Crimson. That has made its way back into my inventory, and it was one of the weapons that kind of I stuck with throughout my rise in comp. It's just such a solid weapon, decent range, especially when you masterwork it. You get basically maxed out range on that thing. It has no recoil whatsoever, and the healing factor mixed with one-eyed mask is darn near criminal. It's almost like having the pre nerf one-eyed mask. It's a little ridiculous. I've also really been liking Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo is a solid auto rifle. Decent damage. It's very stable. It's great for PvP. And of course, in PvE, it's a part of what's currently the most busted build in the game, with 1-2 punch, Peregrines, and Monte Carlo giving you constant melee energy so that you can just basically one-shot absolutely everything in your sight.
Oh, yeah.
Couple of fun
need that. I still need that.
Wishing you luck, brother, because it's nice to be able to get that aerial Peregrine shot off and then like auto rifle 2 enemies and boom, you've got your melee back.
And that's what I need because I have the last man standing with the punch, so that's been incredibly fun lately.
Oh.
Yeah, See, I got to grind for that this coming week. I'm hoping the knights pop up as the reckoning enemy, so I can just sit in there and. Who thought I'd ever say that? I'm excited to grind the reckoning.
Oh my gosh,
Gotta
dude,
get it.
the reckoning.
It's orcs this week.
It's giving me nightmares. I've been so close to the reckoning seal. I just need massacre medals, and I didn't get them because they're very hard to get.
They are.
I'm sad, but it's okay.
What character do you play as?
Hunter.
Then yeah, I can see why they're a little bit different.
Thank you for the heartfelt words.
Thanks, Nim.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I mean, at least I don't eat crayons like some other guys I know. But...
You know,
Yeah.
you know what's a weapon that's actually pretty surprisingly useful for massacres, and it kind of comes out of left field. But I've gotten a couple of them when I was playing Prime. Is Prometheus lens.
Really?
You get the
Oh,
because you get the
Huh.
AOE as you start getting kills. So you start burning ads that are nearby to wherever you're pointing at. And if you're facing an enemy type that has solar shields, you're going to instantly just melt right through them. If you manage to get them spawning really early, like if you manage to get to that area, Prometheus lens is fun for that.
It also
Okay.
restores its own ammo from reserves when you get those
Mhm.
kills. Yeah, so
That's
yeah,
true.
great.
It
So you
kind of
can
keeps it
basically
going.
just go and wipe a bunch of ads.
Yep.
That's a good point, because I've tried a couple different things. Obviously, like with a full stack, so they wouldn't accidentally kill the ads or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been interesting because it's a lot of like you have to wait until they're in the right spot, the right time, and the right moment, and then you just gotta like wipe them really fast. It's
Yep.
a little hard.
Not
but
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nim would know all about the grind to get Reckoner. How many runs for the grenade launcher, brother?
That was like 119 runs for the
Oh,
fucking
Jesus.
thing to drop, dude. For the one rocket launcher. All I needed for Reckoner was the rocket launcher and the emblems. And
Yikes.
No, thank
Man.
you.
Boy.
No, thank you.
Not worth it. Ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man, I had a point to go off of from that. Divinity, right. Divinity, the new raid exotic. Have you guys
Right.
seen it in action?
Yeah.
Anybody here have
I
it?
have, yeah.
No. I have been the I've benefited from its use on some things.
Right.
Yeah, like I love it when a blueberry comes in for the overlord and just is like, "Here's a giant crit spot, guys. Enjoy." And just use that grenade launcher just to plow into it.
It
It's
feels
so good.
good.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I've been I've benefited from its use as well. I'm on the final step, as most people are, which
Mhm.
requires that you go through the raid and hook up a bunch of terminals and whatnot. I got to get a group together to go and run that sometime this week. But it is
Same.
a weird looking exotic, but good God, is it helpful to
Yeah.
just see that little Vex network pop up over targets that it's hitting and just be like, oh, I can shoot anywhere now. Feels pretty nice.
Well, and it's definitely like, like Borderlands has its wacky guns. This feels like a wacky gun. This
Right?
and the rocket launcher
Okay.
that just came out, like
Deathbringer.
Yeah, Deathbringer. Like those look wacky and weird, and it's so refreshing to have something like that in Destiny as a whole. I don't know. It just it impresses me the steps that we're taking, that they're taking design wise to improve our fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think that it's a very unique exotic, and Deathbringer is as well. I got a lot of time to talk about that over the course of this week. Very, very interesting weapons that have specific loops that are just weird. Weird.
Yeah.
More weird. I want more weird stuff like that. More things that are more than just big damage. They have their own kind of weird gimmicks tied to them.
Right, like the boop cannon or the tractor cannon.
Yeah.
Tractor kit. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I want more stuff like that. And Divinity definitely seems to hit the spot with it. I think we've got another exotic quest getting ready to start up. Not this week, but next week. I think.
Right.
For the,
Yeah, what is that
Leviathan's Breath.
timeline looking at?
yeah, I think it's for the heavy bow. which I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to work. And then after that, of course, we'll have Xenophage, which is the machine gun no name from PAX NIM, which he got a chance to talk about here on the show. It's an explosive rounds machine gun, which
Oh God.
I want.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so good. Oh, there's. Oh man, that's gonna be so good in the Crucible.
Yeah, I think.
Enjoy your 3 rounds.
No kidding.
Zzz, boop, zzz, boop, zzz, boop. Well, there we go.
Oh,
Well, we're done.
that's fun.
I'm worried about it in Gambit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
heavy flows a little bit more in Gambit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Machine guns are kind of dumb as it is already, let
Yeah.
alone make one that's a hybrid of a linear fusion and a machine gun. Sick.
Ooh.
You know,
Hell,
especially
Yeah.
with finishers being in the game. Once you max out your artifacts, you can have it so finishers always drop heavy.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. How
Yeah. There we go.
have you played much Gambit since launch, Nim?
I have actually.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
How'd you-
I personally I'm seeing a little bit less heavy because I'm using new armor, so I don't have access to my armament mods because I got to get the new versions of them.
right.
Right.
And it's been kind of the same on the receiving end. I mean, nothing has really changed in terms of that. You know, if an invader comes in, he's most likely using an LMG. It's still ridiculously powerful.
Truth.
Yeah, Truth is another one. But I don't know. I kind of have fun with it. You know, I've been using Deathbringer
Yeah.
there. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah,
Deathbringer's great for ad clearing. And
it's good for invading shenanigans too.
don't hide in buildings when someone has a Deathbringer. Those little orbs go absolutely everywhere. There's no escape.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Deathbringer, it almost reminds me of a Void version of the Galahorn, almost.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's Dragon's Breath and Galahorn got down and dirty in a Vex pit and a Hive pit, and Deathbringer was the
Smelly offspring.
For some reason, Void. I don't know how that worked out.
2 solar weapons.
Yeah.
2 solar weapons negate one another.
Yeah.
It's
Let's create void. It's definitely an interesting gun, and I'm right there with you, Dan. Where I want to see more wacky stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, more weird things that interact with other players, especially because shooting an enemy to create a gigantic crit spot is just that's cool. That's absolutely cool, and I wonder if it works with stuff like triple tap and whisper.
Ooh, that
could be interesting.
Yeah.
I could see taking down the boss in the raid, the second boss fight, when you have to chase him down hallways by just someone divinity whisper. That could be super interesting.
I think it works. I think that was actually done in the raid that I was a part of. I actually think I have it on video. I got to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah.
That would be nasty.
Really
That's
good.
a nasty combo. Now I got to get that thing. Now I want to get it even more. I gotta finish that raid run and get this stinking divinity. I like that though. I like that there's actually stuff that people are looking forward to grinding, and divinity definitely looks like it's going to be an interesting one to get your hands. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Was there any other news we needed to discuss this week? Oh,
I think we're good.
Did you guys give last week? Did we talk about World's First?
We did talk a little bit about World's First.
Mad props to Ascend.
Yes. And yeah, they had a little highlight in this week's TWAB, so
that was cool.
Give that a read. Former co-host and friend of the show and channel, Mega Magwitch, coming back with Husky Raid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Getting that movie of the week. Congratulations
Right
to the Husky Raid
that was good stuff.
guys. Yeah. It was so good.
Like one last huzzah sort of thing.
Yeah,
almost.
man. Yeah.
Oh, that's what they think. They think it's going to be one last huzzah. What they don't understand is that we won't let them leave now.
Yeah.
It's like the Hotel California. You can
Yeah.
check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You're back forever. I'm expecting saw something weird, in the Dreaming City. like next week. Get on
Right.
it.
I know, right?
I love those videos. They're so creative.
Yeah.
And like my favorite part of Saw Something Weird on the Moon 2, out of all the amazing shots, was the anarchy bit midway
Yeah.
through. Where they're shooting
Oh,
around like, okay,
yes.
this looks cool. And
Yes.
then they target it on the dude and he jumps up and it makes the occult star. And it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Oh.
What?
Probably a
At
while.
first I thought it was on accident, but then I'm like, there's no way. There's no
There's
way.
no
this is on
shot.
accident.
No.
Yeah.
There's no shot they perfectly made a star.
If you're gonna make
Yeah.
if you're gonna make a pentagram, you make a pentagram.
Right? It's usually on purpose. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of accidental pentagrams,
Yeah.
Right.
except maybe in Nim's room. But, you know, that was pretty
He looks over and he's like, "Oh my god, another one."
Wow.
Where did these
Wow. Fucking wow.
I need to stop making these sigils in my sleep.
But still, fantastic video. Go check him out. Husky Raid on YouTube. Mega Magwitch, follow him on Twitch. He does streams because he came back for that.
Yeah. He's
He
the
came
comeback
back to
kid.
stream.
He's the
Comeback
comeback kid.
Comeback kid. Mm.
Yeah, man.
Great video.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely worthy of movie of the week.
Absolutely.
From Bungie there. Very happy for the Husky Raid guys. I hope they find the inspiration to keep on going and making more stuff because
Yeah.
good lord, I need to be entertained and they do it well.
Yeah.
For sure.
But all right, I do believe that's all the news we had for this week.
Yep.
This is usually where we go into audience questions, but we're a little light on those this
Yep.
week. So
Yep.
I will be asking a few questions before we get on out of here. And question number one will be kind of a follow-up to something we talked a bit about earlier in the stream. We talked about what we really like with Shadowkeep, but we didn't really expand too much on what we dislike with Shadowkeep. And I know there's a few things that some people have some problems with. So starting with Josh, is there anything you dislike thus far or could see improvement with? That's the nice way to say it.
Yeah. So I guess one thing, and this has kind of been my little side gripe with Destiny for a little while now, is that there's no new enemies. They're all like the same, like, you know, like I mean, don't mean bosses, but I mean just like the enemy type. You know, it's Hive, Taken, you know, whatever. Like, I would like to see a brand new enemy type that we've never seen before in Destiny. That I think would be amazing. I would absolutely love that if we could, you know, like a brand new enemy comes into the universe, or maybe they've already been here and they've been sleeping on it or something. But like, just I need something new. I can't have the Taken returned again. You know, like it's getting a little stale to me, a little old, especially after, you know, like 5 years of the same enemy types being there. And yeah, so that's my main thing. I think is that it's just no new enemies. So yeah,
I can agree with that 100%. I mean, I think it would have been awesome if towards the end of Shadowkeep, you know, you finally get the Dreambane armor so you can resist the effects of the pyramid, and it opens up and a new enemy type is in there.
Yeah.
Even if it was just for that mission.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Something that's been locked inside the pyramid all this time that we haven't seen since the collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And we, even like I said, even if we were only to fight it in that mission, because it can only be found inside the pyramid. Yeah, I think it's about time we saw some new enemy types. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my big gripe is that there was no refresh on the vendors for the most part. Yep. No, I mean, I just mean that entirely. I don't mean for the most part.
Entirely. Zero.
Yeah, it would have been cool to come into this like for a new suite of weapons, like across the board, and maybe a few things here and there that would refresh, but we're just gonna have to wait for that, I guess. Or should we stop waiting at this point? Like,
it's been a while.
Yeah, is it a thing that we shouldn't expect to happen? And just when it does happen, we all go, "Oh my God! Look what they did!"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because right now it's like, oh well, got that hand cannon again. That's neat.
They're better devils.
Yep, love that
Nameless
better
Midnight.
devils.
Woo.
Woo.
Yeah.
slowly hold square and for dismantle.
Right. It's gotten to the point where I just immediately hit square to dismantle things.
Right,
Like,
right.
if it's armor under 55, if it's weapons that I've gotten time and time again, immediately disassemble.
Yeah, no need to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Mr. Nem?
Oh, you know where I'm going with this, TBL. You know
Hit me with
exactly
it.
where I'm going with this. So, my biggest gripe with Shadowkeep was the Scarlet Keep in on itself.
Okay.
So we have this, and granted, of course, we have the dungeon. So I know that
Right.
that also takes place in the Scarlet Keep, but we had this marketing behind there's this Scarlet Fortress up in the moon, and something's going on in there. The Hive are doing something, but as we're going through the story, we go in there pretty much to go through it until we see the pyramid ship.
Right.
And then the next time we find ourselves in the Scarlet Keep,
Right.
we're doing the strike
Right.
to kill Hashladoon because for whatever reason, we don't know what she was doing in the Scarlet Keep. And 90% of the keep is a giant elevator that goes up. And that's it.
Accurate.
And that's it. Like
Yeah.
there was no background as to like why Hashladoon was there, what she was doing. She just kind of was like a side plot to the story to
You've
kill.
murdered her entire family. That's what she's doing there. She's
Correct.
upset.
But the part about that though is that they're clearly doing something with it because the Scarlet
Right.
Keep is directly above the pyramid ship.
Right.
And we never find out what that like purpose was.
Right. There's no connection between it and
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
And
yet, right? Because we have
Yeah. Death
an
is
entire
relative for the Hive. And again, we still have the dungeon, so we don't know if the story elements tied to the dungeon as well. But to me, the Scarlet Keep felt really like hollow.
Yeah.
As to where like they definitely could have done a little bit more like secret rooms and a little bit more of exploration towards or like with it. You can't even really go through it on a patrol. Like it locks you out if you actually try to go up the elevator. Like that entire section is just sectioned off for the strike. Like you can go in the front and then you can go into like the little burrow tunnels underneath it to go to the ship, but then that's really about it with the keep. Like it was just kind of there for almost just kind of like, hey, the moon is twice the size now.
Set piece purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my biggest gripe with it.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. You and I talked a bit about it. It's really for something that was the set piece of this DLC. That's what you see in all the advertisements for Shadow
Right.
Keep, Scarlet Keep. Going there really once or twice over the course of the story and never really exploring it or its purpose was a little weird. And while I do expect to learn more, because of course the narrative for Shadowkeep doesn't end with that final story mission from Eris. It's continuing on throughout the next couple of seasons. And I do expect the exploration and story bits to pop up again, with the dungeon and stuff like that. But it was just, for right now, it was a little weird to think that, man, this whole expansion was built around this weird fortress the Hive are building, and then like we barely go to the weird fortress and don't know why.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's almost reminiscent to vanilla Destiny. Like the entire marketing of Destiny 2 was a world without light.
Yeah.
And literally in the second mission of the game, you get your light back.
Hey, Nim.
Yeah.
Do you like your light? Would you you want that back super early in vanilla Destiny 2?
30 minutes later.
Yeah. A world without light.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering. Dizzy Dilo asks in chat, how much do you think will go back to the keep in the future iterations of like the next seasons? I would hope that they would kind of like it's weird to say this, but time gate and roll out.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Yeah,
And again,
piece
like-
it out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we have
Yeah.
again we have the dungeon in a couple of weeks. Can't remember exactly
Yeah.
what's the date of the dungeon of the launch, but
It is the
I mean-
29th. It's 2 days
Thank-
before Halloween.
Yes.
thank you. But I mean, I expect this to kind of be almost like an Infinite Forest type of situation where it could potentially be used during like a Halloween event.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Right.
something.
But it's kind of a shame because the environment is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can't wait, to see it in the dungeon, see how far out down that actually goes. But
Mhm.
we'll see.
Right.
I 100% believe we're going to be revisiting it at some point in time. Possibly
Yeah,
even
it seems like a
outside of the-
huge thing just to go there once and be like, okay, this is one strike, but it's like a huge.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like.
Giant elevator.
I will
Yeah.
say,
Like Oh, go on.
I was gonna say the strike is pretty badass though. Like,
The strike is awesome.
yeah.
Strike is great.
And
But I think that giant tower,
Mhm.
would have lent itself to have an amazing opportunity to be almost like an end game
Yeah.
destination where you can
Right.
like, go up the tower almost in a like Castlevania type of way, just kind of like navigating your way up and secret rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, in
I've
a
been-
perfect world.
So it took me so long to realize that you had to hold aim down sights in order to stagger those ogres.
Oh.
For
that
real.
Hankin
For the
perk?
unstoppable mods.
Yeah.
3
Could've been explained
seconds.
better.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, because you're idiots like me, 3 seconds. That's all you need to aim down sights and shoot an ogre and stagger him.
Yeah, for the unstoppable mods. Or you can be like me, give up, and then just start shoulder charging them. Because that's a mod too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
threw me off. But,
Yeah. So
Who knows? Maybe we'll see some of
Yeah.
that stuff revisited in the future.
Yeah.
I
There's
hope
a-
we do.
There's a lot of stuff coming on the 29th. You have the Festival of the Lost, Dungeon launch,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the quest for the Xenophage.
Plenty
All
of
on
that's a
the
busy
same
Lot
day,
of
day.
dude.
content. So much content.
So,
Looking forward to it.
yeah.
Seems
Yeah.
like hopefully be a good time. I always take more content in this game.
Yeah.
Same.
Overall,
Same.
Shadow is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun expansion. I want to
Oh
see it.
yeah. Definitely.
Well, all right,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, is that it? Is
Yeah.
that a show?
That is the
so.
show.
Shut in.
I think we did it. I think that's his show. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into episode 215 of the Planet Destiny podcast. This has been a ton of fun. Josh, thanks so much for joining us tonight, man. It was great to have you here.
Thank you. It was good to be here. Thanks for inviting me on the show, and yeah, it's good to be on Planet Destiny. So
Heck
Right
yeah.
on, man. Welcome to the team. Thanks so much for the work. And before we get on out of here, of course, we will let you take a chance to let everybody know where they can find you across the internet, your Twitch channel, your Twitter page, all the social media stuff you'd like to plug.
well,
Yeah,
thank
take
you.
it away, man.
I'm basically just JoshuaJJB2. If you type that in the search bar on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, you will find me, and I will be there waiting for you most days.
Wait. Watch
I'll be waiting for you.
I will be waiting.
Tonight,
But,
I knew you
yeah.
would arrive.
Yeah, I stream most nights on Twitch. I play a lot of Destiny, but sometimes I dabble in other games as well. My YouTube, I'm still getting that figured out a little bit. I used to do Destiny glitches back in the day in Destiny 1. Haven't
Cool.
done much in Destiny 2 yet, but I'm hoping to do some more stuff in that on the YouTube side. But yeah, that is where to find me.
Right on, man. Once again, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Ready to go check him out there.
For sure.
Nim, what you got going on, man?
Not a whole lot on my end. Again, work has been just pretty time consuming. I have been streaming on resets, so every Tuesday, around 5:30 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. Just doing the usual power level grind and all that good stuff. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Is there a place where they can find you on
They
Reset?
know where. They know where. It's if you follow me, you know where.
On the corner of
Anyway.
Market and 17th, Nim will be playing
See,
video
that's why you
games
can't.
this coming
That's
Tuesday.
what you can't. That's what you can't give Dan just like a little bit because he will take it and run, guys. He will take it
That's
and
right.
run.
Hey, you're the one who chose not to give a direct location,
Yeah.
so Dan wants to make one up.
I'm trying to
That's
help you
where
out,
we'll
bud.
find
I
you.
want people to be able to find you and watch you play video games. That would be so weird if people like.
Or
On a
charge
corner?
$15 once
Yeah.
you get in the door.
Well,
You're
if people were playing video games on the corner, right, and you
Yeah.
just knew to show up there every Thursday. Yeah. Anyways.
Welcome to my stream.
Yeah.
You want a street corner?
Well, I mean,
It's-
like, I get it though. I get what you're saying. Like, it's basically the same thing, only on the internet. Like, you're like, oh, like I just found this person, and they're just here and they're playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing, you know? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's the beauty of online stalking and voyeurism for video games. Speaking of which, Dan, where can we find your cams?
Oh, hi. You can find me at twitch.tv/DanFinity 4 days a week, playing Destiny 2, of course. You can find, oh my god, I'm brain farting here. Destiny Digest is now on Google Play and Stitcher, as well as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And we just added another member to the news team there, so that's really cool. And then we have what else? What's the last thing that I was going to say? There's one last thing I was going to say. Oh, Fandinity will have an OnlyFan channel soon.
Oh my god,
Wow.
no. An OnlyFan.
Yes!
It's
An
only going
OnlyFan.
it's only going to be top tier fan content.
This is the
Top
premium
tier.
content
Yeah.
I want to subscribe for. Give
Is there a premium Snapchat involved with that?
Yes,
Or
but
not.
it's only
Tell
going
me.
to
Wow.
be
Please tell me
it's,
there are.
it's only going to be videos of fans. I'm telling you.
Oh, yes. OnlyFans.
Yes.
Yes. 100%.
OnlyFans. So,
Worth
yeah, that's
your
it.
money. I'm not sure that's what most people are going to that website for, but they will be pleasantly surprised.
I don't
with
know
little
why else you'd go to that
It's
website.
like, oh, what else are you going there for?
Top tier fan content.
Top tier something. Certainly top tier something.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. It has been a busy couple of weeks since I got off of vacation. I'm going to try to get in some live streams at the usual time, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time, going for a couple of hours from Tuesdays to Friday this week. And also, of course, the usual video content, guides, and news videos and all that kind of stuff will be on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/Planet Destiny. But all right, there we go. That is it for episode 215 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
But of course,
Alright.
for those who are live,
Cool, I think I have
Are
somebody.
we-
Let me see.
with raid.
Ooh.
Got somebody?
I think I have somebody.
Excellent. Who we tossing the love to?
Let me check if they're still online.
Yeah, so we don't have the usual recurring
I've
Of
done that
raiding
before.
who
We-
immediately goes offline.
We hosted somebody who was in like subscriber only mode.
Oh.
And I was like, oh wait,
There you go.
why?
Why
I'm
would
sure
you
that
do
was
this?
appreciated. Which, by the way, before we go, I wanted to talk a bit. Maybe we'll talk about this next week. But have you guys looked at the Steam numbers for Destiny 2?
Oh,
bonkers.
It's
Yeah, they're
like-
wild.
They
Yeah.
are. It's been the number one game consistently every day, basically since it came out on
Yeah.
Steam. The player numbers are in the number of owners on Steam is between 1 to 2 million. The player numbers, the concurrent player numbers yesterday were 262,000 players.
Wow.
Yesterday.
Jesus.
And that's just Steam. That's not Xbox,
That's just Steam.
PlayStation. Wow.
It's just Steam. Like the Twitch numbers were the peak Twitch numbers yesterday were 21,000. The the YouTube stats over the past week for Destiny 2 have been 9,878,867 views and over 36,000 comments on videos posted just in the last 7 days,
Wow.
with over 50 new videos uploaded yesterday.
That's intense.
So
You
where
can call it a dead game, just don't call it a comeback. I've been
Where-
here for years.
where are all these people for public events?
I don't know. What's happening?
Yeah,
How are these
that's true.
people
I haven't seen
playing?
anybody. I've done public events alone, but I've been able to do them. So I don't know. It's weird.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit weird. It's definitely a little bit
Very weird.
But still, fantastic numbers. Just the player numbers for Steam being above 200,000 yesterday was, and that's been
crazy.
concurrent. Like that's been consistent rather for the past like week or two since it came out on Steam. So
That's awesome.
game's definitely looking pretty healthy on PC. But all right, I just
Yeah.
wanted to get that out before we left.
Bye.
Ready to raid.
Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.